Check. Oh, okay. Alrighty, let me turn my game down. Because I don't think I can hear myself. There we go. Alright. What's up? It's me. I'm here. Okay. So, I did say this is gonna be a reaction stream, but I'm gonna go ahead and do a quick daily. So, I'm slowly kind of trekking my way through this whole mess. Let's see here. Gifts, claim all. Ooh, that's a lot of stuff. You know what's funny is I call these dailies, but I only literally open it during stream. I don't have Memento Mori on my phone right now. I just have it on my computer, so I'm not opening it daily. I hate to admit that, but that's just how it is. I'm saving space for other stuff. So I'm just gonna go through this here and get all my stuff. And I will do the thing I said I was gonna do. Yeah. I got lots of gifts. Just for me. Go my gifts here. 405. Interesting. I'm pretty sure I still don't have enough to upgrade, maybe. Oh, I got some more in there. Have anybody here? I'm not gonna do that right now. Can I upgrade her? Need 3,500. Oh wait, okay. Oh, I'm close. Oh, that's nice. I'm close. I'm almost there. Hang on. All right. I'm really close. I'm so dang close. I just need some more. Ooh, orbs. Red orbs. Okay. Oh, I got gems. Nice. All right, let's see. Consumables. I got some. Is it gonna be enough? Absolutely not. Do I appreciate it anyway? For sure. I'll take all the diamonds I can get. Can I open? Oh, I can open two. Okay. Oh, more missions. All right. That it for now? It is? Awesome. All right. Ooh, you know what? Should I do a roll? Nah, that's okay. I don't need a roll. All right. Maybe. Did I try? I'm gonna try. Let's try it. Probably gonna lose. Probably definitely gonna lose. Yeah. Okay. I lost. Well, that sucks. Oh well. Well, I'll just leave it at that. Okay, that should be enough right now. Let's go ahead and shut the music off. All right, I'm gonna switch to my next thing. Let me make sure I have what I need. I have a playlist of stuff I was going to react to. It's a very short playlist, but a few of the videos are pretty lengthy. So I think it should be enough. I don't think I'm gonna watch all of them. I have a couple short ones, and then I'll watch some of the more involved stuff. So let's see how this goes. All right. So now I have this up. I can close this. Uh-oh. Can I leave? Can I go away? It won't let me leave. There we go. Okay. So I got a couple of videos up here. The very first one I'm gonna look at. Put this up. Ah, shoot. Okay. All right. So the first thing I'm going to look at is the new trailer for Mega Malamar in Pokemon Legends ZA. They announced it earlier this morning. I will go ahead and disclose that I did already watch this, but I wanted to give my own personal thoughts here. So let's see. Make sure my sound's working. Is it kind of catch my uh-uh. Hold up. Is it catching it? Nope. Let's try it again. So it's kind of neat walking around with Malamar. Going around. Mega Malamar is just absolutely crazy. The freaking hypnosis thing is so freaky. Oh my goodness. Poor Dragonite. And then, uh-oh. Oh no. Oh no. And it's all Malamar. Okay, So probably the freakiest thing about Mega Malamar, I forgot where on the website it is, but it describes it a bit more. That if it doesn't agree with its trainer, it will actually just straight up hypnotize the trainer to make them uh give the commands that it wants. It's absolutely insane. That thing is just crazy. Like I, I don't know. I mean, it looks like a super villain. Everybody always has already made a Megamind joke, but it's just wow. I don't know why we're getting so many good designs now, because they're just. I think just Dragonite and Victory Bell were just playing goofy. Halucha was awesome, and then this is absolutely amazing. It's freaky, but it's amazing. So this is pretty interesting. I can't wait to see what other Mega Evolutions are going to come up later on. But so far, the track record looks pretty good. But now I think the trend is going to be that the older generation Pokemon are going to get goofy ones, and the newer generation ones are going to get cooler looking ones. Maybe, I don't know. I think they're trying to wean people off the Gen 1 hype is what it is. So anyway, let's go ahead and let's see. Sorry, I didn't finish the video. So October 16th, ooh, next month. Information. Oh, yeah. Okay, we get the Ralts with the Gardevoirite as a mystery gift. 100 Pokeballs with pre-order. Oh, okay. So let me go ahead and preface this. If you have ever watched Monty Python, let me go ahead and make this full screen. If you've ever watched Monty Python, then you are probably very familiar with this little cutout animation style. This is the animation style of a guy named Terry Gilliam. I think I'm saying the name right. Correct me if I'm wrong. But if you've ever seen any of the little cutout animations and anything Monty Python related, it's literally just him. Now he's actually the funny thing is he's actually American. That's the funny thing, because Monty Python is a British comedy series and slash the movie the Holy Grail, but Terry Gilliam's actually an American animator who worked on it. So that's kind of interesting little tidbit. This little short here is by him, but this is not actually Monty Python. This is actually his own animation that he made. So it's called The Miracle of Flight, and it's pretty interesting. I haven't seen it in a while, but it's pretty silly. So let's go ahead and take a look. The Miracle of Flight by Terry Gilliam.
Ever since man first observed the smooth, graceful soaring of a Boeing
Bro, look at his neck though, and the plane. Oh, he couldn't fly. What are those strings like? I thought that scene was funny with the wing pull. It looks like it's a fake bird. Okay, sorry. Ta-da! Bro, he got everything except the wings. And there it goes. Da, da, da. Big feet. Oh, nope. It's not it. It's trial and error. Okay, real quick aside. I, for the longest time, thought that this was a silly, like, punishment historically, tar and feathering, because in, like, cartoons and stuff, it always just kind of looked goofy. Like, they would dip them in basically a tub of glue and then and two feathers, and then haha, look at the little guy. He looks silly. He looks like a chicken. I didn't realize that the tar would be like boiling hot. So when you got that stuff on your skin, you would literally be burning, like melting. It'd be melting into your skin. And the feathers were just like putting more salt on the wound, so to speak. So I have that knowledge now, and now you do too. And it is not pleasant. And I really think it is a horrible, torturous way to deal with someone. But yeah, anyway. Also, this guy probably not gonna fly, but we'll see. Oh, there goes. Brother. You got flat hands. Oh, well, he got the wings down. Ah! Oh. Oh, well.
Meanwhile, in a certain country, a certain king had gathered together all of his finest scientists in a massive research project.
Okay.
Once and for all to break the flight barrier.
Oh, here we go. Put all the great minds together.
Today is an historic occasion. With the vast amount of knowledge and experience at your command, I am confident we will achieve success. Dr. Thingies?
What was his name?
We will achieve success. Dr. Thingies?
Dr. Thingy? That's an interesting name. Okay.
Fly!
Ah! Fly! Kick!
Not as successful as hoped for. Next, fly! No, next. Fly.
That's unfortunate.
Fly! Fly!
That's crazy.
But then, on July 27th, 1643...
Oh, they did it! He's flying! Oh. Ah.
No, that's still not right. Next.
I mean, when you think about it, it's like Toy Story. It's not flying. It's falling with style. Yeah. I mean, that works. He's flying. He's using birds, but he's flying. Brother, next. He's doing it. He did it. Oops. That's crazy.
300 years later, in this
300 years later.
significant shop somewhere in Krakatoa, east of Miami.
Incredible! Fantastic! Come quick, Madge! Look at this!
Who's got flying fish?
Is it there? It's incredible! I've just invented the airline ticket!
With this amazing breakthrough,
The airline ticket.
I've just discovered in-flight movies!
I've just invented the air sickness bag.
Oh?
Invented stewardesses!
I've just discovered the please fasten your safety belt sign.
And I've just invented
Oh,
the
yeah.
terminal.
I can't get over the one guy. This guy. I have just invented stewardesses. This one always gets me.
Invented stewardesses!
I've just discovered the please fasten your safety belt sign.
And I've just invented the air terminal.
Oh man, this guy's freaky. He's like in your face. Hey, look, we're flying. We got airports.
Flight 507 for Krakatoa
Look how empty it is.
Dusseldorf.
And he got on the plane like immediately.
Boarding pass, please, sir.
It's nice.
Thank you.
Look at that. No TSA, no line, nothing.
Flight, sir.
Flight 507, now leaving.
Fly! No, still not got it.
Fly! Oh my gosh. That doesn't get old. Okay, so that was it. Yeah, so I think he's got a couple other like independent animations that he's made outside of Monty Python. I'll have to look for those, but that's just awesome. Okay. I might watch some Monty Python next time too. But anyway, let's look at the next thing. Oh, the end. Okay. The end. For real. Now let's look at the next thing.
The year was 2007.
Okay, hang on. So this video is called Giratina is Peak Fiction. I have no context for this video, but it's been sitting on my watch later list for a million years now. So I'm gonna take a look at it. Just to preface, my first real full playthrough of a Pokemon game, of a main series Pokemon game, was actually Pokemon Platinum. So even though I technically did grow up during early Pokemon like Red, Blue, Yellow, I think culturally I'm technically a Gen 4 person. So anyway, let's go ahead and see what this whole thing is about.
The year was 2007, and I was playing Pokemon Diamond for the very first time. I had just beaten Cynthia by the skin of my teeth, and was quite eager to see what post-game content...
I forgot if I actually lost to Cynthia. No, I didn't lose to Cynthia. Did I lose to Cynthia? I'm trying to remember. I know that my first playthrough, I had like literally 5 out of my 6 Pokemon were weak to ground type attacks. And her Giratina absolutely did a number on my team. And I guess I blocked it out of my memory, but I can't remember whether I actually had to play through the Elite Four a second time, or if I just saved in front of her, and so when I lost, I just turned off the game and turned it back on and did the battle again. But it was rough. It was rough. Because literally I had Empoleon, Staraptor, Lucario, Rapidash, who else? Rhyperior, and I forget the last Pokemon. But as you could tell by the ones I just mentioned, a good number of them are weak to either ground or rock type attacks, of which Garchomp has some of the more powerful ones, like Earthquake and Stone Edge. So yeah, Cynthia traumatizes me too, but honestly, after that, she is probably one of my favorite champions. Although I think she's the favorite of a lot of people for reasons. Anyway.
that awaited me. My prize in this regard was an excruciating roadblock. The task of retracing my steps to register every Pokemon in the regional dex.
Ooh.
I was making my way down Route 214 when a rather strange development caught my attention. Where previously there was a rather noticeable dent in the tree line, now there was an entire pathway.
Why does this feel like it's gonna be a creepypasta? I don't like this.
Made my way through this curiosity, going further and further, only to realize that I had left my indentured vibrator.
Oh, okay. I just put it together. He's playing Diamond. Okay, so I need to shift my mindset because, like I said, I played Platinum. So I didn't experience Diamond or Pearl, which means that this is about him encountering Giratina in Diamond and Pearl, or I guess Diamond specifically here. Whereas if you played Platinum, Giratina was the box legendary and was your main legendary encounter. So that's okay. So I guess that's what he's gonna be talking about, is his encounter with Giratina prior to Giratina being the main focus of the game. Okay, all right, I'll leave it at that.
But when I returned and scaled this rocky obstacle, what I found disturbed me. A cavern unlike any other. Eldritch inscriptions greeted me, tempting me to explore this foul dungeon. For what seemed like an eternity, I ran and ran.
This does feel like a
Not knowing if I was
creepypasta,
making
though.
genuine progress, or if I were in a loop. Eventually, I saw it. A primordial in the center of a musty room. This was Giratina, and I was captivated.
I love how they do
This seemed
Giratina with no
onslaught was a
context.
slog like no other. But eventually, I managed to subdue this beast. Catching my breath after such a tight
that was
battle, I could finally
anticlimactic.
bask in the astounding
Okay, well, he just got it. I thought he was gonna get into it a little bit more. Oh,
presence of my latest capture. Look, I'm gonna level with you. Giratina is awesome. Allow me to
Yes.
elaborate in a 100% impartial and factual manner. Design-wise,
No, he
you
won't.
have the whole 666 motif going on,
Ooh.
but conceptually speaking, the idea of combining a ghost and a dragon is simply immaculate. This type combination has, as of the making of this video, only been seen one other time in the history of Pokemon, and well, let's just say that the Dreepy line can't hold a candle to this majesty. Furthermore,
the Chad Giratina.
Shadow Force. Seeing Giratina do that for the first time.
Oh, Shadow Force.
In a generation that drastically improved the animations of every pre-existing move, whilst adding exceptional moves in its own right, Shadow Force in particular stands out. With the exception of Roar of Time, this was the coolest move in the game. Up to this point, I should say. Yet this
Shadow Force goes really hard, though. That's a crazy attack. And honestly, I love how they did the animations later on, where you actually see Giratina disappear into a portal to the Distortion World, and then reappear and attack the other Pokemon. It's crazy. I love it.
was all a sample size of what was
Epic design, dope signature move. Yep, perfect.
to come. Because 2 years later, we got
Oh,
Platinum,
okay.
and far
Yes.
more development and lore for this here monster.
Oh! Ooh, I think I had this one. Oh, I don't know where it went. I had the Giratina Pokemon doll, I think. Did I? I had a good amount of them. I don't know, they're somewhere.
Seeing this for the first time and hearing this
Oh.
for the
Oh,
first time
man.
set the mood for
Ooh, this brings me back. Oh my gosh. This was my first experience with a full playthrough of a main series game. Oh, it just, ooh. And you know what? The other soundtrack that really brings me nostalgia is Jubilife City. Jubilife City, oh my goodness. It brings me back to when I first got my DS and I first got Platinum and I started playing it, and I was in Jubilife City. By that point, I think my family was traveling somewhere. And so I remember playing it in the car. And I was sitting in the back seat, and oh, it just brings me back to my childhood. It's crazy.
for this new adventure. Of course, with this being the third installment in the same region, the changes start rather marginally before derailing entirely by the final act.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not ashamed to admit it. This made me jump the first time I saw it.
Oh,
To then
that
be told that
same. Oh my gosh. Ah, that's a crazy jump scare. Oh my goodness. You know what's even crazier though? The event with our. See, here's the thing. I say Arceus, but I found myself correcting to Arceus. But however you say it, I usually try to say Arceus because that's how they named it at the beginning. So I want to keep it that way. But honestly, when I converse with other people about Arceus, they will tend to call him Arceus, which is the technically correct name. And so a lot of times I have to adjust the way I say it so that people know what I'm saying. So I may flip back and forth between Arceus and Arceus and how I refer to that Pokemon. But anyway, the event with Celebi. No, not Celebi. No, it was. No, sorry, I'm thinking the wrong event. In Heart Gold Soul Silver with Arceus, you go to the Sinjo ruins and you can get one of the creation trio, which is Dagapalka Giratina. And it goes through this whole like PowerPoint slideshow of real life pictures of like the universe and places and stuff, and it's freaky. Oh my gosh. I played that at like in the middle of the night when I was in like I think I was high school by then, but it was just the craziest thing. Okay.
we absolutely had to enter the very pit that this came out of. It didn't exactly inspire confidence, to say the least. With that being said, the distortion world itself was rather trippy. The laws of physics weren't concrete, and just
the distortion world was amazing. Oh my gosh. See, we don't think anything about this because everything's 3D animated now, but this was absolutely revolutionary for what you could do with Nintendo DS graphics. Of course, like we're talking about like in Pokemon. So this is the closest to a 3D Pokemon game you can get. But of course, it progresses later on. But like,
the overall navigation of the place was a sight to behold. This puzzle was quite the riddle for childhood me, though, not gonna lie. But at the tail end of all of this, we got a cold interaction between Cynthia and Cyrus, and got to
Mom and Dad, please stop fighting.
For the last time. Following his attempt at gaslighting, we came face to face with Giratina's new form in a stunning
Wait. What does it say?
New form in a stunning display, and well.
Go Hago. The beginning part almost looks like Gaga Gigo from Yu-Gi-Oh! The name of the monster. Gaga Gigo. Or Gigobite, whichever one. Oh, the music! Oh, that's me.
S-tier theme aside, a new form for a legendary
absolutely
event-exclusive Deoxys was a welcome surprise. Sure, this would become a staple in later gens, but getting this, one that could be changed very easily with a sick animation to boot, only made Giratina cooler in my eyes. Having captured this beastie, we were then beholden to the greatest crash out in franchise history. Until Getsis, that is. Cynthia dropped another soliloquy, and we were out of there. Partly due to the fact that this was the last third installment in the same generation, and partly because prior third installments seldom had beefy lore drops such as this, Giratina had officially solidified itself as my favorite legendary. Heck, in the lead up to all of this, I was led to believe that Giratina was some horrid, vile entity that thrived on malice, only to realize that there was some nuance. Look, I'm not saying that this is some Paradise Lost type stuff, but if I was banished to another realm for untold millennia, I might be a tad bit cranky after the fact. I think the person that devoted their life to
maybe a little bit, just a teensy bit annoyed, angry that you've been banished to another world. Yeah.
Studying this mythology had the right take. After all this time, Giratina merely wanted to live, laugh, and love, eating
Aw.
sweets along the way and getting to spread its wings a little. If anything, the moral of this particular chapter, aside from the fact that Giratina is sick, is that Arceus is a terrible parent. Outside of Sinnoh, what more can I say? The ruins of Alphivet and Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
That's what I'm talking about.
Acquire...
Ruins of Alph. What did I say? Sinjo Ruins. Isn't it the same thing? I think the ruins of Alph were inside the Sinjo ruins. Because the whole point of Sinjo... Oh, there it is. Sinjo. Because it's literally just... They just mashed together Sinnoh and Johto. So it's like, eh. Oh, yeah, you can get a level 1 Giratina, Palkia, or Dialga.
A level... The ruins of Alphivet and Heart Gold and Soul Silver, where you can acquire a level 1 creation legendary, is
that's crazy.
Hands down the best event.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, well, he fast forwards through it, but
one creation trio legendary is hands down the
yeah, look,
best event.
Look, it's got all the. Those are like real life photographs. Those are real photographs. It's crazy. Imagine seeing that on your DS. It was just insane.
Of Pokemon, of course, Legends are.
I think that would be like, you would equate that to maybe if you just had your phone on you, and you were playing a game on your phone, and then all of a sudden, a full like 3D hologram, like on par with like Yu-Gi-Oh, popped out of your phone and started immersing you in it. That's how that felt. I think that's the feeling that I had when I saw that whole sequence on my DS Lite specifically, in the middle of the night playing that event. Crazy.
Arceus and Volo's usage of Giratina was wild as well. It may not be all that.
I absolutely got destroyed in that Volo fight when I played Legends. Oh my goodness. I mean, to be fair, I was kind of expecting the origin form to be another phase, but I just didn't realize how unprepared I was, like with my team, and I was so underleveled. Like, I don't know what happened. Usually I'm crazy about overleveling my team in like most Pokemon games, just because I'm paranoid about not being able to finish a battle. But oh my goodness, this caught me way off guard. And I just, I don't even remember how I defeated it. But it's just basically a Pokemon battle with 3 phases. So, what was it? Someone put it a certain way. That battle was essentially playing against a team of 8 Pokemon versus your 6. Because Volo had a full team, 6 Pokemon. And then after you defeated his team, he has Giratina pop out. And then you defeat Giratina. And then it goes into second phase, into Origin form, and refills its health, which kind of counts as an extra Pokemon. So it's like he added 2 extra Pokemon. So it's essentially like he had 8 Pokemon on his team, which was unfair and crazy. And Shadow Force's animation in Legends was just absolute peak. Crazy. It was just unfortunate that I was a victim of it. But anyway.
Competitively viable these days, but I don't care.
Nope. No competitive. But that's okay. I like it for who he is.
I love this spectral centipede, and I'll continue to do so for many years to come. That is all I have for you today. Thank you for your time.
Okay. So, oh my goodness, that really brought me back. Oh, okay. Woof, man. Okay. Well, anyway, so that really brought me back to my memories of it. But in spite of what your opinion is of Pokemon now, and lots of people have expressed their opinions, a lot of them negative, about Pokemon and Nintendo and whatever and all that mess. But in spite of all that, just the history of it still has a special place in my heart personally. I just hope that at some point maybe they'll realize that they need to make the consumer happy again. But hey, it is what it is right now. Ultimately, they're still a business. Ultimately, they're just trying to make money. So it's unfortunate, but we still have good memories. And I still technically have a working DS, and I still have all my old games. So I can play whenever I want, really. But yeah. Anyway. Whew, man. Okay. Well, that was absolute peak fiction. I cannot raise my hands like the meme, but just imagine I'm raising my hands. Anyway. All right. On to the next video.
If you've walked
Okay. So I just saw this randomly. Is expensive milk a scam? So there's lots of different milk at the store that you can get. And I have always been in a position. Well, let me say this. When I was younger, my family wasn't the most well off. So we were technically on the, I guess, technically food stamps or government program, whatever you want to call it, that allowed us to get food without having to pay or having to pay a lot. And one of the things that we took for granted was having access to milk. Because when my youngest sibling finally grew old enough and wasn't eligible for the program, we stopped getting milk. So whenever we did get milk later on, it was more of a luxury. And we would just go to town on it. And the unfortunate thing was I had multiple siblings. So we would finish that milk real quick. So now what that has done is it's caused me to have this sort of, I guess, internal inherent kind of what's the word? Need to always have a thing of milk in my fridge. So whenever I go shopping, I tend to always want to get the biggest jug of milk because I don't like running out of milk. That's one of the things I don't like running out of. So because of the nature of, like, getting milk, and there's different kinds, and I've been trying to eat better and stuff, I have looked into different kinds of milk that I would want to get. So also, I am lactose intolerant, so I have to get lactose-free milk, which narrows it down a teensy bit, although I'm not like super, super crazy, like I will absolutely destroy the toilet, but it does have some effect on me, so if I can, I'll go ahead and just get the lactose-free milk anyway. But there's other types of milk now that they mess with, like they have the A2, they have like the ultra filtered, whatever the heck it is. So they have lots of different types of milk nowadays. So this video caught my eye because milk is pretty important to me personally. It's like it's a staple in my diet and a staple in my fridge. So I'm just kind of curious to see, like, what really is the difference between like the cheap, like, store brand milk versus like the really nice looking milk. So I'm gonna just kind of check out this video, see what this guy has to say, and I think after this, I'll go ahead and stop for the evening. So let's see.
If you've walked down the dairy aisle at the grocery store lately, you've likely been overwhelmed by all of the options we now have. Sure, there's still your standard whole, 2%, 1%, and skim, but now we've also got things like ultra-filtered milk, A2, lactose-free, low-temperature pasteurized milk, or organic options, and this is all before we get to alternative milks like oat and almond, which have...
Okay, so that's the other thing too, is that if I'm gonna drink milk, I'm gonna get whole milk, because I want to drink milk by nature of it being milk. The most I would probably get, like, as far as an extra kind of additive to it, is lactose free, because 2% milk to me tastes like I'm drinking water with white food coloring in it. Because school milk has ruined that kind of milk for me. Whenever I was in school and we always would get a milk for our with our lunch, there was always a choice between the 2% milk or chocolate milk. Both fat free, obviously. Occasionally there'd be strawberry milk, but I didn't really care about strawberry flavored things. But I would always get chocolate milk because the 2% milk tastes like nothing. If I wanted to drink water, I would just get water. So the next best thing was just get the flavored milk, and even the chocolate milk didn't really have much taste. There was just more in it than the regular milk. So yeah, 2% milk, no go. I will do whole milk. I don't care what anybody says. I will not do the stupid almond milk, oat milk, whatever other garbo fake milk there is. I will do regular milk. Now, very rarely will I do like an alternative milk. Maybe if I find a really good one. Okay. I take that back. I am okay with cashew milk, and I am okay with walnut milk. Those are actually pretty good. And the other thing too is that they have, they're thicker than almond milk and oat milk. They have more of a milky consistency, and that's kind of important because if you're going to replicate milk, then you want to not just, be a liquid. You want to taste and feel like milk. And just to me personally, almond milk is and oat milk are too watery. And that's what I don't like about like the 2% milk, right? You take all the fat out of it. Whereas cashew milk, walnut milk are a little bit thicker, and that makes them, because they're kind of like creamy nuts. So when they're turned into a milk, their milk is actually creamy, which helps it replicate a bit more. Now, is it perfect? No, it's not. But if I lack an alternative, like I don't have regular cow milk, then I'm okay with those kinds of milk. Those two specifically, the cashew and walnut milk. Those are fine. So anyway.
Standard versus barista style editions, and simply put, I have so many questions. Well, friends, as you can see, I bought a lot of milk.
Oh my gosh.
Get to the bottom of this by breaking
that is an absolute paradise for me. I wish I had enough room to just buy that much milk.
This video down into 3 parts. Part 1, what is milk? We'll define milk in simple terms: water, carbs, fat, and protein, and show how all of these milk types are essentially remixing these components in different ways. And based on what we learned, I chose 4 different whole milk options for a taste test. Ooh, much thinner than number 1. I picked up that right away.
Oh, I should do something like that. No, I'm not gonna worry about it. That'd be fun though.
2 is the rise of alternative milks.
Yep.
We'll show how plant-based milks solve problems that traditional dairy can't by kind of re-engineering the sensory experience of milk with different ingredients. And I'm going to do that side-by-side iced latte test of almond versus oat versus whole milk. And lastly, in part 3, how to choose the right milk for you. And part 3 is really important because, as we'll learn, milk is a pretty unique ingredient where there's a pretty good chance the milk you end up buying at the store is not the one that tastes the best, or you may want to purchase different milks for certain situations, such as using one milk for your smoothies and a different one for your coffee. And speaking of, later in the video, the iced latte coffee test is brought to you by this video sponsor, Cometeer, which made the testing process easy and perfectly controlled. And the reason why Cometeer tastes so great is that it's the first coffee that is flash frozen and stored at peak freshness.
Oh, it's
the quality
coffee.
of Cometeer is better than my favorite pour-overs at home or espresso drinks I order from
Oh?
a coffee shop, and here's how it works. Cometeer sources beans from all of the best roasters around the world, then do the grinding of the beans and carefully brew them at 10 times the strength before portioning the coffee and flash freezing them into capsules.
Oh.
And you can already start to smell the richness and complexity of the aroma as soon as you open these. To make a hot coffee, all you have to do is add hot water to the cup, or for iced coffee and espresso-style drinks, just thaw it ahead of time and pour it in. No machines required. I did a little coffee tasting of all the different ones with some of my family, which was a lot of fun. The watermelon candy was one of our favorites, the Stellar Series Gesha was insane, and later in this video, we're going to use the Eclipse from Onyx for iced coffee with those different milks.
Oh, so it's like a concentrate. That's kind of interesting.
So if you want to try Cometeer for yourself or make a really good Mother's or Father's Day gift coming up, head to the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen for 15 cups free on your first order. But now, let's break down the 5 components of milk. On a percentage basis, the milk that comes straight from the cow is typically around 87% water, 5% carbohydrates, primarily in the form of lactose, which is a sugar, 3.5 to 4% fat, 3.5% protein, and then around 0.5% vitamins and minerals and other...
You know, I didn't realize, I mean, yeah, it's a liquid, but man, that's actually a large portion of it is just water. So when you talk about 2% milk, it's like 3.5 to 4% fat. Like you're only taking like half of it out. But that's not very much as far as like how much was in there to begin with, just kind of in comparison. That's crazy.
Little bitty things. And this is important to understand because every milk option out there is essentially remixing these 5 components in some way. Some differences might be really obvious and others not so much. So to get your wheels turning a bit, I want to quickly compare and contrast 2 examples, skim milk and A2 milk. Skim or fat-free milk legally needs to be less than 0.5% fat, and it's removed through the standardization process. However, the sugar and protein content remains the same.
Oh, so fat-free doesn't even mean no fat. It just means low fat.
The same, meaning on a 100% basis, our water content increases from 87% to around 95%.
Oh, there you go.
So if you've ever tasted skim milk and gone, oh, it feels more water.
Well, see, that explains it. Look, 0.5% fat. The entire thing is basically just water. So, like, yeah, there's basically no point. You're just drinking water with like white stuff in it, but that's it. You might as well just drink water. Oh my gosh. Fat-free milk is a scam.
So if you've ever tasted skim milk and gone, oh, it feels more watery to me, it's because it's literally made of more water.
There you go. There you go. Oh my gosh. It's crazy.
Now, when it comes to flavor, the fat is gone, which provides a lot of texture, and skim and whole milk are fundamentally different. So if you were trying to follow a recipe that calls for whole milk and you only have skim, you'd want to add some butter or oil to make up for the difference.
Yep.
Now, an example of a less obvious difference is A2 milk, which I didn't even realize existed.
I knew it existed. I don't have a problem with it. But let's see what he says.
Before starting this video. Compositionally, A2 milk is going to be the same from a water, carbohydrate, fat, and vitamin or mineral perspective, but the key difference is in the protein. And it doesn't have more protein, but a different kind of protein. A2 milk specifically refers to milk that comes from cows.
Oh, that's the brand I get. Literally the A2 Milk Company. Yeah.
either bred or selected to produce only the A2 type of beta casein. But the primary reason why the term A2 protein is marketed has nothing to do with the taste. The total protein in milk is made up of around 80% casein and 20% whey. And a lot of the casein content comes from that A1 and A2 beta casein proteins, but how much depends on the breed of the cow. And here's a table from Deep Research summarizing some breed differences. Holstein cows are around 50-50, while other cows are almost entirely A2 protein. And the reason why A2 protein is starting to become labeled on the milk is that there are some studies that have shown that A1 beta casein can be difficult for some people to digest, while milk with only A2 beta casein may be better tolerated by certain individuals. Now, a quick caveat, this has nothing to do with lactose intolerance because lactose is the sugar in milk, not the protein. But if you are someone who is not lactose intolerant, but still has some digestive discomfort when you drink or cook with milk and other dairy products, A2 milk may be worth giving a try.
Oh. So is there a lactose-free A2? I guess there would have to be. Okay. So it doesn't affect the lactose. It's the protein. It's interesting.
And hopefully these two examples are beginning to show you how the milk you end up buying at the store can be a nuanced conversation. I've personally never had any problems with consuming dairy, so I can't weigh in on A2 milk's potential digestive benefits, but where I can lend some thoughts are in the differences of flavor between these various milks based on those 5 components. And this is why I wanted to set up 2 different taste tests for this video, or milk flights, if you will. Now, before we get to tasting these, we need to do a quick overview on how milk is processed. This way you'll understand why I chose these 4 particular milks to do a test with, and how the processing could affect the flavor, such as taste, aroma, and texture. The first step of the milk process is choosing the cow. Like we just talked about, the choice of the cow can make a difference when it comes to the resulting raw milk that comes out. Most commercial dairy cows in the US are Holstein breeds due to their milk production efficiency, and if you want a crazy stat from the USDA, the average milk production per cow averaged a bit over 24,000 pounds in 2024.
That's
However,
a lot of milk.
It gets a little crazier than that. According to this article at HolsteinUSA.com, top producing Holstein cows milk 3 times a day have been known to produce over 72,000 pounds of milk in 365 days. Now, while most milk for drinking comes from the Holstein breed, sometimes other breeds like Jersey or Guernsey cows may be preferred for other dairy products like cheese, cream, and butter. For example, as we learned in the butter deep dive, grass-fed cows may produce milk with more beta-carotene, leading to milk with a slightly yellow tinge instead of pure white. And choosing the cow is how we end up with the variable of the A2 milk we're going to use in our taste test. And this variable has nothing to do with the processing of the milk, but everything to do with the genetics of the specific cow breed. However, that changes with our other 3 milks I'm going to try. So after the cows are grown and ready to produce milk, we're ready for step 2, milk collection. Cows are typically milked mechanically, and the milk is quickly cooled to prevent spoilage.
Hang on.
Collection. Cows are typically
Oh, it's like a little merry-go-round. That's cute.
milked mechanically, and the milk is quickly cooled to prevent spoilage. And like we touched on, this raw milk will vary a bit from bit, but generally will contain around 87% water, 5% lactose, 3 to 4% fat, 3.5% protein, and then vitamins and minerals. And depending on where you live in the United States and around the world, you can purchase unpasteurized raw milk for consumption, and it has been growing in popularity. Now, this is not a raw milk.
I mean, I see why you would want raw milk. I could understand it for like cooking or whatever, but drinking straight raw milk, I know it, like pasteurizing it kills the good bacteria or enzymes or whatever, but like the whole point is that it kills the bad ones too. So I think personally, I think the only reason to have raw milk would be either to add it to something, like to cook with it, or if you're just drinking it like straight from the farm or something, where like it hasn't had time to go bad, because that's the whole point. It's for storage and distribution, so that it doesn't go bad or grow any bad things while it's getting packed and shipped. But I don't know, teach their own.
Milk video. We're not going to break down the arguments for or against it. There are plenty of other articles and videos out there I will link below if you're interested. From a practicality standpoint, raw milk does leave you with a much higher risk
There you
of
go.
getting sick due to the pathogens. And from a lifestyle perspective, raw milk also has the shortest shelf life, as the enzymes and live bacteria left in the milk
Yep.
cause it to ferment and sour much faster than milks that have been pasteurized.
Yep.
And as we're going to find out in step 3, depending on how milk is pasteurized, this can lead it to have an expiration date ranging from just a bit over a week to up to a few months. Once the raw milk leaves the farm, it heads to processing, where the goal is to remove the bacteria and also make it consistent from jug to jug. And this transformation happens through 3 key processes. 1, fat standardization, 2, pasteurization, and 3, homogenization. So first up, we have standardization. This is where the raw milk is separated into cream and skim milk, and then is blended back to a specific amount of cream. And this is how we create whole milk, which typically has 3.25% fat, 2% with 2% fat, and it's the same on down to 1%, and then skim milk has to have less than 0.5. And all of these whole milks I'm about to test have that same amount of fat in them at 8 grams per 250 milliliters.
All right,
After
here's the taste
standardization,
test.
this
Oh,
is where the milk is pasteurized, and we begin to see some differences in our
Guess it's
whole
later.
milks. Pasteurization kills bacteria by heating the milk to a certain temperature and holding it there for a set amount of time. And all 3 of these milks were pasteurized at different temperatures and times. First up is HTST, or high temperature short time pasteurization. This is the most common one used for milk in the grocery store, and is done by raising the milk's temperature to 161 degrees Fahrenheit for just 15 seconds before being rapidly cooled back down to 39 degrees Fahrenheit. Next is UHT, or ultra high temperature pasteurization. This is done by raising the milk's temperature to 280 degrees Fahrenheit, but for just 2 seconds. And if you have a milk that has a really long expiration date, like
that's crazy. For 2 seconds? Huh.
several months, it was likely UHT pasteurized. Fairlife, for example, says they use UHT on their milk on the website. Now, on the opposite
Yeah, I've had Fairlife.
side of the spectrum, we have low temperature, long time pasteurization. And this is done by raising the temperature of milk to 145 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 minutes. And typically, if a producer uses LTLT, they're going to list it on the label because it takes longer and is less efficient, so the resulting milk will cost more. And I was able to find some locally produced milk using this method. Now, through pasteurization, even though it's generally a short time, we are essentially cooking the milk a bit, which could impact the flavor. How much kind of depends on, and we're going to get into shortly, but the last step after pasteurization is homogenization. 3 of these milks I'm going to taste have been homogenized and 1 has not, and here's how it works. So the milk fat naturally will separate from the water content over time. So in order to prevent this, homogenization is done by pushing the milk through very high pressure valves to break up the fat globules into ultra tiny ones so they won't separate. Now, after these 3 core steps, there are some optional advanced processing that can happen during these processes as well. First is fortification, second, ultrafiltration, and third is lactose removal, or really it should be called lactose breakdown. Fortification is when nutrients are added to milk to either replace what processing has removed or just to boost the overall nutrition profile. For example, vitamin A, D, and E are very common ones that you'll see on milk labels. Ultra-filtered milk, on the other hand, is when the milk is pushed through a soft membrane filter that separates molecules by size. And in most cases, this process is used to remove some of the water content, the lactose, and certain minerals, which in turn concentrates the protein and calcium in milk. And this is how Fairlife is able to get high protein,
that's what it says,
lower
ultra
sugar
filtered.
milk. Then lastly, in order
Well, hold
to
up.
get Fairlife,
Let's see that comparison. So, okay. Standard whole, ultra filtered. So, carbs, lower carbs, more protein. Huh. Interesting.
is able to get higher protein, lower sugar milk. Then lastly, in order to make lactose-free milk,
Yep,
it's not done
lactose
by
free.
purely removing the lactose, but instead by breaking it down with lactase.
Lactase.
Lactose is a milk sugar made up of glucose and
So, like I said before, I am lactose intolerant. And for the longest time, if I was in a situation where, like, maybe I was at like a birthday party and they had ice cream, or I was just over at a friend's house and they just had like milk on hand, uh, usually it would be like standard milk. So, me being lactose intolerant, if I drank it, I would pay for it later. Now, finding out later on that they have the lactase pills or supplements that you can take before you ingest something that has cheese or milk or whatever, that was just absolute magic to me. But honestly, at that point, I think I have kind of built up my tolerance a little bit better to drinking regular milk because I've done it so often. I think it's just like what's the strategy of like the kind of the minimal exposure to it, kind of like what people do with allergies, except obviously lactose intolerance is not that drastic. But I think that I've built up a bit more of a tolerance because I've drank uh regular milk with lactose in it quite a bit on my own. So anyway.
lactose. And people who are lactose intolerant don't produce enough lactase, which
Yeah.
is an enzyme that breaks lactose down into those simpler sugars that our small intestine can absorb. So to make lactose-free milk, lactase is added typically before pasteurization. And some people say that this makes the milk taste sweeter because glucose and galactose are sweeter on their own than pure lactose is. But in short, these processes explain how we end up with so many
I'll have to test that out because milk is just, I thought milk was just naturally sweet, but I guess maybe it's sweeter because I'm so used to drinking lactose-free milk. I'll test that out.
different milk choices at the store when we're wandering the dairy aisle. Fat standardization is how we get macronutrient differences such as skim, 1, 2%, and whole milk. There are micronutrient differences such as A2 protein or lactose-free milk. We have expiration dates ranging from 1 to 2 weeks or over a couple of months, and price differences from $3 to $7 or $8 or $10. And there's most likely going to be some flavor difference too, so let's see how different these milks actually taste. Okay, so I've got all the milks here. I've got the labels underneath on the bottom, and then I'm actually going to spin these and randomize them a little bit just because I don't want to know which one is which. I kind of want to be surprised if there are any differences here. So let's give them a quick little spin.
Okay, so now he's doing the thing.
1, 2, 3, 4. Reposition. We are ready to go. You guys will know on screen, but I will not know, which will be fun for me. I love going into taste tests just completely blind like this. Boy, I should get some water.
That does look fun though.
Oh my gosh. Also, I've not just had a plain glass of whole milk in a while. I forgot how luscious and rich it is. It's crazy.
Yep, that's whole milk.
Very,
It's
very
milk.
good whole milk.
What's more milk than other milk?
Ooh, much thinner than number 1. I picked up that right away. I'm gonna go back. Yeah, this one's way more creamy and like the texture kind of sits on my tongue a bit. This one feels a little bit waterier to me. The flavor is also a little bit different. I don't know quite how to describe it. It could be like maybe a little bit more, I don't know, like cooked. I wonder if that's one of the higher temperature ones. We'll see. All right, number 3. These two are much closer in texture to each other than this one. This one may be slightly thicker. The flavor itself, much more balanced. Let's go to the last one.
I wonder how it's gonna feel when you
Very
taste it.
interesting, and there are some clear differences here between them. Texture-wise, I would say the green one to me sticks out as like the most creamy, the most luxurious, kind of sits on your tongue really nicely, and it feels very decadent and nice to drink. Then coming down, I would say orange is probably the closest to green, but it definitely feels like it's almost like a step below. And then to me, I think the purple one here feels the most watery. As far as kind of like taste and aroma go, I think green, I feel like I really get like that buttery, dairy creaminess kind of taste and aroma to it. It also feels a little bit, maybe a little bit more sweet. I don't know. And then, so I would say like green and orange are a little bit closer to each other as far as taste and aroma. Purple to me has kind of a, purple to me kind of has like that like kind of more cooked like milk. Like if you were making like a roux and you poured in milk or a cheese sauce, like that's kind of what this reminds me of. It's not bad, but it's just like there is kind of this clear difference in flavor. And then blue is also pretty mild. So all of them are good, but for the coffee test that I'm gonna do later in this video, I'm gonna move forward with this green one. To me, it is the most luxurious of them. So let's see what we have.
Ooh.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep these in line. So what is green? So that's the ultra pasteurized. Definitely just feels
Ultra filtered.
it feels very like thick and luxurious. Number 2 is the low temp. Oh, interesting. Store and A2. So my big observation here is that, yes, you can definitely pick up on differences in the taste, aroma, and texture of these various milks. That being said, I do want to point out a couple of caveats. You know, if I was using these in a baking recipe or maybe a cheese sauce, all of them are probably going to work just fine and you're not really going to notice much difference, because if you're making a cheese sauce, the cheese is really what gives you that kind of taste and aroma. Or if you're using it in like a cake, you're adding cocoa powder, sugar, and tons of other
Some
ingredients.
pasta sounds good right
So
now, or mac and cheese.
these would all work in like a cake recipe, where you might run into some issues if you try to substitute whole milk for like a fat-free milk, because you're fundamentally adding less fat. Now additionally, I'm not someone who can just like throw back a big old glass of whole milk with dinner or something. I
can.
Just how rich and decadent this really is. But one area where I do like to use whole milk is...
That could be a straight meal though. Like I could just drink a glass of milk and I'd be set. Well, maybe 2.
in my coffee. And what we're going to do in the second part of this video is talk about the rise of alternative milks and kind of explain how they try to recreate these same 5 core components that we have in whole milk, except using different ingredients.
Alternative
At their
milk.
core, alternative milks are trying to solve a few different problems than traditional dairy milk. For example, some people are lactose intolerant, some avoid animal products entirely for ethical or other environmental reasons, some may prefer the flavor or texture of plant-based options, and others of us might just be curious what these taste like. And this is exactly why I wanted to do a little coffee test, because the area where I've found these are most common are at cafes and coffee shops. I even did a quick poll on my Instagram, and of the 2,209 of you that voted, 34% typically order oat milk with their espresso drinks. Also, if there are any cafe owners or workers watching, I'd be curious to know how many people typically order some type of alternative milk and what those numbers look like maybe 5, 10, or 15 years back. Now, before we get to tasting, we need to do a quick crash course on how these milks are made. And now that we understand how we end up with so many different options of cow's milk, it makes it really easy to understand what's going on with alternative milk, because we're essentially remixing those same 5 components from earlier, but just sourcing them from different ingredients. First, we need water. This is the base of all milks, regular or alternative. And alternative milks are made by blending the core ingredient, in this case oats and almonds, with water. Second, we need fat. Fat is needed for the body, richness, and creamy texture of milk. This almond milk uses the fat content naturally occurring in almonds, but the oat milk needs to add rapeseed oil, since obviously oats do not really have any fat in them. They're primarily a carbohydrate. And the barista versions of alternative milks generally have a bit more fat in them to try and get closer to the texture of whole milk, but they will also have stabilizers added like dipotassium phosphate in order to help foam and thicken for espresso-style drinks. Third, we have carbohydrates, which are used to lightly sweeten and give a rounded taste. Remember, in cow's milk we had lactose, but in oat milk the sugars are created when the oats are broken down and liquefied, or in this case the almond milk has a little bit of cane sugar added to it. Fourth, we need protein. This is used for structure, mouthfeel, and a bit of savoriness. The alternative milks generally...
Oh, that's the other thing with the nut milks especially. I found that I actually prefer there to not be like too much added extra sugar to it, because I think one time I tried the cashew milk and I really liked it, and then later on I tried it another time and it was just way too sweet because it was actually a vanilla flavored cashew milk. And so that's kind of what I realized was I preferred the unsweetened one. I think there's ones they add a little bit, but I think generally like I don't like that vanilla flavor. It's just too much. But anyway.
have a much lower amount of protein in them, as both the almond and oat milk have just 3 grams per 240 milliliters compared to 8 grams in whole milk. Additionally, glutamic acid 240
Look at that. 8 grams, 1 gram, 1 gram, 1 gram, 1 gram. Yep. Can't beat regular milk. Soy milk is okay. I like soy milk to a certain extent. Yeah.
Milliliters compared to 8 grams in whole milk. Additionally, glutamic acid is one of the key amino acids that make up the casein and whey protein content in cow's milk, which triggers our umami taste. So it'll be interesting to see if that comes through differently with oat and almond milk.
Umami milk.
And lastly, we have vitamins, minerals, and miscellaneous. Like mentioned, dipotassium phosphate is commonly used to stabilize the emulsion of the fat in water in barista-style milks, and salt will commonly be added on the ingredient label for a bit of salty taste. Then oat milk can still be high in calcium, but almond milk is just lower. It kind of just depends. And here's what the nutrition labels look like for a cup of milk from the whole...
Let's see. Oh. Okay. Well, obviously the oat milk is going to have the most carbs. Look what they have to do to mimic a fraction of our power.
barista oat and almond milk variations.
That was the whole milk.
And basically, alternative milks are kind of like a remix. They're using plants and other ingredients to recreate the similar sensory experience of cow's milk, but each one has their own quirks and trade-offs. For example, oats obviously don't taste like almonds, but how strong is that flavor when they're mixed with water first and then used in coffee? Well, let's find out. Okay, so we have our iced lattes ready with different milks. Let's give them a shot. I'm going to try to mix these up just because I like to be surprised a little bit. The goal of these tests is not to like crown one as a winner. This is all personal preference at the end of the day. But
it's a good thing he said that, because I could see some crazy people on the internet or in the comments arguing about what is the best milk.
If I am pleasantly surprised and don't know which one's which, I'm going to blindfold up and try to fit them in our little taste testing box here. 1, 2. All right, this might barely work. Okay, I think they're all in different cups. Okay, cool. I think we're good there. I think I can take that off. So let's give them a shot and see what we have. Number 1. I'm in. Just really good. Gonna grab some water. And you can let me know down in the comments, when I'm drinking iced, I want those like darker, chocolatey or roastier kind of aromas when it comes to coffee. But if I'm drinking it hot, I much prefer kind of fruity. So these are really, really nice. Whoa. Very different, those two. I think this second one was much kind of thicker to me.
Probably because it's the real milk.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Number 2, much thicker and luxurious compared to number 1. Also very good. Definitely a slight difference in kind of taste and aroma, but I'm going to still unpack that a little bit. Number 3. Not a big fan of that.
Yeah. The oat milk is the worst.
Texture-wise, these two are very, very close to each other. There is some kind of like aroma that I feel like I don't think I like number 3 as much.
Yeah, you shouldn't,
Feels a little bit
because it's
more bitter
garbo
to
milk.
me. Like no, like it's not bad, but like I just don't think I prefer number 3 that much. I'm gonna go back to number 1.
No, it's bad. It's bad. Terrible milk. Trash milk.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not really a big fan of almond milk in general, but I'll take almond milk over oat milk.
number 1 solid, smooth. It's definitely less thick though. Like the texture is really what I'm picking up on, and I think that almond milk might be lower in fat, so that would kind of check out that it is the least viscous. All right, this is really interesting. Again, there are some very clear differences between them. I think texture for me jumps off right off the page right away. This first one is definitely thinner and it feels a little bit watery compared to 2 and 3. 2 and 3 to me feel very similar. I think 2 is kind of that more luxurious kind of texture that we're getting. As far as taste and aroma, there are definitely some differences as well. Now, all 3 of these I would be perfectly happy with drinking. That being said, the third one for me feels like maybe a little bit more bitter. 2 feels the most balanced to me, like a nice balance of like sweetness with kind of those darker aroma notes from this particular coffee. And then
That's an interesting way to put it.
this first one, I would say, it has like some kind of something else going on. I'm not sure. If
Something
I had to
else.
guess, I'm thinking like these outer 2 ones are probably the almond and the oat, and this middle one's the whole milk. But let's see what we got. Gotta be careful here. Okay, yeah, almond and oat. That's interesting. But yeah, I think my clear observation is you 100% again can pick up on differences, like as you would expect, right? You know, oat milk and almond milk, again, they have similar of those 5 components, but the way
But they cannot compare to actual real milk.
they get there is differently, so that does show up when we start using them in coffee. You know, I think the oat for me, like it does have a little bit more of like a bitter and kind of, I don't know, it feels like it.
It's because it's bad. It's garbage milk. Oat milk is not real milk. Almond milk isn't either, but it's closer.
Maybe overpowers the coffee a little bit, at least to me. And then for me, again, this is all personal preference at the end of the day. I think for me though, whole milk is kind of what I'm used to, and to me, again, it feels like it's in the most balance with the coffee. It feels like the milk and the coffee are working together a bit more in terms of taste and aroma. So as always, very interesting test. Would highly recommend giving this a shot if you're at home and you've kind of always wondered, what is the difference between oat and almond milk? I guarantee you'll very clearly be able to pick up on some differences between them. But anyway, this is going to bring us to part 3 of this video, where I want to pose the questions that you should be asking yourself in order to help you figure out what milk you should be buying at the grocery store.
I completely forgot that was the point of the video. Was what is the most, I guess, cost efficient? Or was it? Is expensive milk a scam? So is the price like tied to the quality of the milk, I guess? I don't know. There you go.
Okay, so as we've seen throughout this video, not all milks, whether dairy or plant-based, are created equal. But the real question is, how do you take all this information and actually use it when you're standing in the grocery store or when a barista asks you what type of milk you want in your latte? Well, this is why in part 3, we're going to cover the 4 human elements that everyone should consider when purchasing milk: lifestyle, health, flavor, and values. Like I mentioned in the intro, the milk you like the flavor of the most may not be the one you end up buying. For example, in my case, if I'm at a coffee shop and want a cortado, I'll go ahead and order it with whole milk. However, you typically will not find whole milk in my fridge. I typically buy 1% or skim milk, and that's because I use milk differently at home. First, if I'm drinking a plain glass of milk, I want it to be low calorie and high protein. Second, when I am at home, I tend to drink most of my coffee black, so I don't use milk much there. But if I do need it for a recipe, I can either add a bit of extra fat to it, or if I really feel like whole milk will be useful for the texture of a particular dish, I'll just go out and buy a
I
small
want some mac and
container of it.
cheese.
Additionally, since I don't drink that much milk in general, if I find one that does have a longer shelf life or expiration date, that is generally a bonus in my opinion. So here are the key questions you should ask yourself when it comes to purchasing milk. These are in no particular order, but first is lifestyle, which includes questions like, what is your primary use case for milk? How much milk do you drink? And how often do you shop for groceries?
My primary use case for milk is drinking it. Would using it in cereal count as drinking it too? I guess so. I guess you can use any milk for that. Well, I'll either drink it, use it for cereal, and I do put milk in my coffee whenever I do drink coffee. How much milk do you drink? A freaking lot. That's why I get the big jugs. How often do you shop? Not too often, because I get the big jug. So it lasts me a bit.
Second is health. Are you lactose intolerant or sensitive to milk? Do you prioritize high protein option, or are calories or fat content a concern?
I am lactose intolerant. Does that make me sensitive to milk? Not necessarily, but I buy lactose free anyway, so it's fine. Do you prioritize high protein? High protein would be preferred if possible. So I guess the A2 milk is good for that, which I do have. I actually have A2 milk in my fridge right now, although they only come in the standard carton, so you can't get as much of it, and it can be a bit pricey. Are calories or fat content a concern? Not really, not for me at least.
Third is flavor. Do you want a creamy, rich texture? How much does taste and aroma matter? Or do you want to mix it up with something?
Creamy, rich texture, yes. So that ultra filtered would probably be good. I do like getting Fairlife occasionally. How much does taste and aroma matter? I don't really feel the aroma of milk. I don't sit there and smell my milk. I'll taste it for sure. And do you want to mix it up? I mean, I mix it in my coffee, and I guess occasionally I don't really bake, but the only other thing I would put it in would be like mac and cheese. So I think I would want a pretty creamy milk for that.
Something new. You could give goat milk a shot. Then fourth is
Oh, goat milk. Oh yeah, that's right. Goat milk is really like creamy. Like it's crazy. Yeah, you really have to like shake that thing up. Because otherwise, like it does have a little bit of separation. But goat milk's pretty good actually.
values. Is environmental impact important to you? Do you prioritize organic or local products? And what's your budget you want to?
Is environmental impact important to you? Not really. We're gonna die anyway. Do you prioritize organic or local? I would prefer organic. Local is fine too, though. Organic stuff does tend to be more expensive, so that's kind of one of the reasons why I would not get it. And what's your budget? It depends.
Spend on milk. For example, I grew up with 3 brothers, so back in the day, we would go through a gallon of milk pretty quickly.
Oh my gosh, that's like me. I also have 3 siblings, and we would annihilate a gallon of milk.
And depending on the answer to these questions is how you'll figure out what milk type to buy, and I can give you some examples of what I'd recommend. For example, if you're someone who likes coffee drinks but has a sensitive stomach and price is not an issue, I would say try out an A2 protein milk or a barista style edition of oat or almond. If you're a big cereal eater but budget conscious and you want slightly lower calories, I'd say go ahead and buy a store brand 1 or 2% milk. If you avoid animal products entirely, alternative milks like oat, soy, or almond will be the ones for you. If you're protein focused but want really good flavor in your shakes or smoothies, I'd probably recommend unfiltered milk. Or if you're an occasional milk drinker, I would then...
Oh, that's good to know. Okay. So maybe next time, because I do have this protein powder that I use. I do put it in my coffee though, because it mixes better. but I guess using the ultra filtered milk would be good to combine with it.
Look for ultra pasteurized milk so you can get that longer shelf life. And all
Hmm.
of these recommendations really come from understanding those 5 components we talked about throughout this video so you can figure out what milk works best for you. So that will wrap it up for me in this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I would love to know, what milk do you typically buy at the grocery store? For many of you, I'm sure it's not a simple answer. You may buy whole, you may buy 1% sometimes. Some of you like skim, some of you probably hate skim, some of you probably only drink whole milk, but let me know down in the comments. Anyway, that'll wrap it up for me in this one. I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace, y'all.
Okay, well, that was very informative. I wasn't expecting that much detail. That was a pretty good video. So yeah, I guess pretty much I would just go with either the Fairlife, the ultra filtered is actually pretty solid. A2. Yeah, I guess one of those two, which is honestly, it's typically what I get anyway. But a lot of times I would just get kind of like standard whole milk. So, but yeah, that was good. This guy, Ethan, I cannot say his name, and I'm not even gonna try because I feel bad. I would feel bad if I said it wrong. But anyway, that was pretty good. Like the video. What the heck? I'll subscribe. Ooh, I want to see this real quick.
Have you ever wondered why some egg yolks can be a vivid deep orange while others are a much paler yellow? Well, here's the food science behind it. The color in egg yolks primarily comes from carotenoids, which are naturally occurring pigments that are responsible for many of the yellow, orange, and red colors in foods like carrots, pumpkins, red peppers, and our egg yolks. Now, chickens cannot make these pigments on their own. They need to obtain them through their diet. When a hen eats a carotenoid-rich food, those pigments are absorbed and transported via the bloodstream and into the developing egg yolks. And in this study on the effects of dietary red pepper on egg yolk color, they found that adding just 0.1% of extracts from things like paprika and marigold petals can intensify the yolk's orange hue and color.
Oh.
And this explains why, depending on the diet, we can get a whole range of yolk colors. For example, a wheat, barley, or corn-based feed tends to lead to more plain-looking yellow yolks, while a diet with green plants, alfalfa, and a variety of forage plants that are higher in carotenoids can give that deeper orange color we see in many pasture-raised eggs at the store.
Oh my gosh, wait. Oh my gosh, those are those are the exact same eggs that I get. That's crazy.
In many pasture-raised eggs at the store.
Yeah, it's gotten to the point now where it's weird for me to buy like normal like standard eggs. I'll only buy like the brown eggs because I mean they just have a fuller taste, I think. It's just like when you go back to like the white ones, they're all bleached white and the yolks are so like pale, and it just, I don't know. It feels a little unappetizing. It's not like I can't eat it now. It's just that I think there's more benefits to the other ones. But it's funny because the one he has in the video is literally the one I get. So, but they are pretty expensive. But anyway, okay. Well, sorry, that was a little bonus, but no, that was good video. Good videos. All right, I might go ahead and check out this stuff after I'm done here. Oh, but all this talk about milk, I want a glass of milk. I want to pour myself a bowl of cereal. I might make myself a cup of coffee. The only thing I couldn't make realistically right now is mac and cheese or pasta, which sucks. I could go for some mac and cheese right now. Okay. Well, anyway, that was fun. That was interesting. Very informative, very educational. I think I'm going to go ahead and shut it down here tonight. I don't know if I'm going to be live again. I may or may not start doing a schedule. We'll see. I'm still working on getting my Twitch set up. I did make a TikTok. I'll post that elsewhere at some point. Oh, I need to update my my socials above me here. Okay. Well, anyway, that's all there is to it. Thank you for watching. Have a good night and have a great rest of your week. I will see y'all next time.